The people listening actually want fair elections. They want to make it easy for people to vote. They want elections to go well in their communities. What do you have to say to them?
Okay, well, yes, there are organizations that go into nursing homes and can register to vote. The League has done it many times. We often try to work with our local supervisors of elections that are elected county by county. And we have said, hey, if you're not going to go in, we'll do it. And we go in and we register the people and we make that effort. So that is something that voting rights organizations and volunteers can do to make sure. I've registered many homeless people because when we do our voter registration, someone comes up. What people do in Florida is you can use the place where people can go to stay for a temporary time. That can be their address. So there are, in Florida anyway, there are ways to reach out to people who you're worried that they're going to be left out. It's not easy. It's intensive work, but there are ways to do it.
Sam?
Yeah, I'll just, I think, sort of close on the what people can do. And I put this in the chat, but I think volunteering to be an election worker is tremendously important. We've seen a real shortage at times of election workers, and it's a very difficult environment. And so it's a really important thing that you can do. And I put a resource there. Volunteering to monitor what's happening. I put a link into LDF's Prepare to Vote team, which Cecile gave a shout out to. Sort of, we sort of work together in different ways, but there are a number of organizations. The Lawyers Committee has a very, very significant network as well, where you can volunteer to be involved in monitoring either in person or remotely. And then if you're a lawyer, a resource that I also put in is if you want to represent an election worker who is facing, perhaps some sort of confusion with one of the new state laws or even harassment or intimidation, volunteering to provide pro bono services to election workers, I think is tremendously important as well.
Michael?
We're less than 60 days away from the election. And the most important thing, in addition to what folks have said, is when candidates come to you, when they come for your support, when they come for your vote, ask them what they're going to do to save democracy in our country.
Thank you. And Congressman?
Sure. Well, it's been a wonderful discussion. Thank you all for hosting it. Our democracy is in peril right now, and it is on a precipice. And so vote for people who support democracy, who will stand up for democracy. But also I want to challenge y'all to be part of a relational organizing in your home states. One of the things we found over the years that keeps people from getting involved in grassroots politics is that they don't want to reach out to strangers. They don't want to cold call somebody in a phone bank or go knock on somebody's door. Relational organizing is about reaching out to the people in your own world, your friends, your family, the people you're comfortable with. And now in probably 14 or 15 states, there are serious efforts to do that. And I believe it's effective. And then finally, our democratic psyche as a country has taken a real beating over the last few years. And you can see it in a lot of folks. But I would ask folks not to give in to cynicism and not to be paralyzed by fear of the future, and to continue to vote and encourage their friends and their family members to go vote. That we can beat back this wave of authoritarianism that we see and creeping fascism, I believe, that we see if we continue to vote.
I just want to close, and then I want to bring Marion in. I want to close and thank this inspiring panel. I was involved in and I told this to the organizers when we started talking about this conversation, in a congressional campaign 50 years ago. Yeah, I'm getting old like the rest of us. And we had what I always thought was one of the most aggressive voter registration posters ever, where we had a picture of Hitler, a picture of Stalin, and a picture of Mao. And the slogan over the top said, people who don't care enough to vote can always find somebody to do it for them. And if you don't do it, if you don't defend democracy, it's not going to be defended. And I'm really grateful to everyone who joined this call out of concern for the state of our democracy. And I really want to thank Marion and her whole crew for organizing it. And I kick it over to you, Marion.
Thank you very much, EJ. And Class Act has a calls to action And our most important one is reiterating what you've said all along, is you can volunteer with a Get Out to Vote organization in your state, such as the League of Women Voters or other organizations, and these are on our list. On our website, we have a list called Voting Activism Opportunities. So we encourage you to go on our website and look for that. You can also be helpful in key states like Texas, Georgia, Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, because you can do things even if you don't live in those states. So take a look at our resources for that.